Hi everyone, welcome to Dublin. My name is Cemal and that last name is Buyukgokcesu, Turkish name. So I'm the global product lead working on mobile web and Google Optimize based in New York. And actually my Google journey started around 10 years ago here in Dublin. So I worked in several teams and 3 years ago almost, I moved to California, San Francisco, and then 1 year ago I moved to New York. And throughout the experience in Google, there was one thing that remained constant. That was my UX passion. And I'm one of the people in the world maybe who believes very strongly in the potential of UX to drive your business conversion rates, more than important than anything else. And due to the job that I have at Google, I travel a lot to meet with Google advertiser partners and companies and attend events, etc. And during these travels, I learned one thing about the user experience when traveling, which is about toilet paper rolls. So I know, like each of us, we are different. So I know maybe you don't think like me, but I have a strong preference to have a toilet paper roll like that. And each time I go to a hotel, I check and fix it if needed. So the main message here is we are different. Like I can divide this audience into two, like by just checking the home screen of your smartphones to understand if you like the left or the right. I'm the guy for the right layout. I hate seeing any notification on my phone screen, or even in my email inbox. I clean it. I will be stressed otherwise. And I can even like divide you into two by just checking your alarm setup. Like, I mean, the key message here, by the way, I'm the guy on the left. The key message here, people are different, very different. We can be great friends, but we are different. And it's not only about human, it's about the nature. So that's why I chose this title as my presentation. The same boiling water that softens the potato, it hardens the egg. But, I mean, under the same conditions and circumstances, different outcomes happen. But you can control the outcome. You can definitely eat your egg in a like more juicy way or like soft way, by not cooking it not more than 90 seconds maybe. So you need to change the circumstances and conditions. And that's the same is true about the digital experience, so about the user experience. So far, maybe not true for this group, I hope, but majority of companies in the ecosystem, anywhere in the world, are mainly focused on optimizing before the click, before the tap experience. They are trying to change conditions and circumstances to optimize the outcome because they know different user audiences exist and they try to maximize the performance. But the real potential is here, optimizing beyond the click and tap experience. By knowing that everyone is different, by maybe, ideally, personalizing the experience for everyone else. That's doable. So maybe not many companies are investing there because of the fact that it is, especially for marketers or maybe for design people as well, it is difficult to prove the company leadership, like the value of investing in that effort, investing in optimizing beyond the click experience. But this stat is very critical. Like this is a research from McKinsey company from last year. They are saying that companies who are investing in optimizing the user experience and design are having stock market advantage, 56% higher returns to shareholders. So there are lots of other stats or numbers telling you that if you optimize design, conversion rate can jump 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So this is definitely up to your existing experience and how you will improve that, but there's a huge potential here for businesses. And in the next couple of slides, I want to talk about some companies and some examples who are aware of the importance of the beyond the click and tap experience and who optimized this experience by changing the conditions and circumstances for different outcomes. And this is my favorite example, which is Google product, Google optimized product that I'm working on. And for those who don't know it, it's a platform for conversion optimization for A/B testing and personalization. And the product has a challenge. So the good thing is we are having very good outreach efforts, marketing efforts, and we acquire users very easily. There's no problem. But the challenge was with the acquisition. With this product, like we bring the people to try the product, but they were not using or activating the product. So in order to deep dive into the reasons about why this activation rate is very low, we did something. But before I will tell it to you, I will tell you a very short story, maybe consistent to what we discussed so far. Do you know what this is? This is boombox, like from 80s maybe. Philips company, when they were planning to launch two versions of these boomboxes, the yellow and the black versions, they did a user research group, like with teenagers. They invited the teenagers to that research, and they asked them, which one do you prefer? And majority of these teenagers said, I prefer the yellow one, because the black one is very conservative. Like, it's not modern, and I don't like it. And the study finished, and Philips told them, as a reward for their participation, you can take one of them for free. And majority of them took the black one. So the key message here is, listen to your users every time. This is critical, but also trust and check the data. And the vice versa is also true. Check the data, but always listen to your users as well, because the insights coming from quantitative and qualitative data could be very different, even contradictory, or maybe supporting each other. It's an art to make sense of these two different data. So what we did for Google Optimize, we checked the quantitative data, checking Google Analytics conversion funnel reports. And we observed that around 95% drop is happening in the funnel, and almost half of the drop is happening in 2 steps in the journey. These are 2 pages, like this is the container page. I will show the example to you. And this is the test or experience setup step. And we, first of all, wanted to focus on improving these experiences on these 2 steps. I will talk about 4 major things that we did to improve, to minimize the leakage. And also we did user research, multiple of them, like to understand, to get the user feedback in terms of how they feel about the old experience and even the new experience. So first of all, like, let me show it to you. Like, this is the old version, container page. This is the first screen that you are seeing after the onboarding experience. So actually, this is the step. So maybe you are seeing this for the first time. So do you know what this is about? So I have a hard time to describe what this is, because this was the original version, and there was no detail about what the user is expected to do here, an empty screen. And one of the users in the research gave this feedback. I don't know how this page is helpful to me. You have that learn more button, but you can definitely put a video or a more descriptive a text there to help me understand what this is about. So we built a hypothesis here. We said, like, if we show more valuable content to motivate the users to click something, we can maybe improve the conversion rates. So we improved the design to that, making this area more prominent, like from button is, of course, more prominent, and the text is more descriptive. And we also introduced a video, like very shortly describing what they can expect from using this product. And I will show you the results in the end. And the key learning that we had was which is very consistent with general UX principles. You shouldn't be shy about showing off. There are different companies from maybe retail, travel, finance, lead gen, any different area. I'm sure you have multiple value propositions, like free return, free delivery, or free cancellation, or amazing savings, etc. You should show them off using prominent call to action buttons. That was the key learning. The next step after clicking that learn more button is the page, the detail page, where we expect users or companies to build the A/B testing or personalization setup. This is the old version. So as you can guess, in order to build the test setup, you need to go through several steps from describing the variants to configuring your test setup, linking your Google Analytics account, to defining the percentages of traffic to send to different versions. And there are multiple steps. And in the old version, the challenge was there were multiple tabs or sub-pages where we will bring the user to make a change and bring the user back to this screen. Then they click another button and they go to another sub-page to finish the setup, etc. So we built a hypothesis, of course, with user research as well. What if we will build a linear, longer page journey versus multi-tab experience? And our expectation was an improved conversion rate. So we built this version, which is a single page where users are expected to scroll, and they don't need to go to a sub-page or a different tab to customize a different subsection of the test configuration. You can do everything on the same screen. So this layout was, of course, more successful than the original version, and our learning was obvious always wins, because we introduced a more obvious, straightforward design to remove the confusion as well, because users who were visiting a tab, they didn't understand, or they were not able to understand that they needed to go back to the original screen to click anywhere else. Another optimization we did was, this was the old version, as I showed to you. And as you can see here, there was a lack of hand-holding the user. Because theoretically, there are multiple ways of finalizing your test setup, right? You can start with maybe setting the targeting criteria, and then you can go back to adding variants and building your analytics account with optimize, etc. So we built a hypothesis, which was this. What if we will show a recommended path to the user, similar to progress bars in the retail experience or travel experience? So we introduced that. Each step is turning green when the user is proceeding through each step. And this was one of the critical improvements, because this improvement resulted in decreasing the user stress. Stress is conversion killer, like behavioral psychology. I'm sure you know more about it, but stress is stress is conversion killer. You should remove that and handhold the user until the conversion happens. So we did that. And our learning was, you should always guide the user throughout the experience, irrespective of how advanced they are or how technical they are. That was the final improvement that we did, final major improvement we did. We did hundreds of other minor things. This is, again, on the same screen that I previously showed to you. There is a sub-step, which is the critical step, of course, which is deploying or installing the JavaScript code to your web page to start the testing, right? Original version was like that. It was consisting of two steps. Step 1, step 2. Two different code pieces for two different purposes, and the text, the description, it was very confusing. By the way, user testing also showed us, from a study of 25 people, almost more than half of them, 56% of them, were stuck at that step. So they couldn't proceed in using the product because they had a challenge in deploying these tags. So we built a hypothesis about simplifying that experience, and we redesigned the installation page, converting two-page experience into one page and simplifying the main to-do for the user, and also the text. The key learning for us was also very consistent with overall design principles, which was don't make the user think, like Steve Krug, the father of UX, tells. And simple always wins. That's the critical thing. In the end, we improved the activation rate, or in your term, maybe the conversion rate, by 50%. This was a very significant improvement considering the actual numbers. And we improved the leakage percentages in each step almost 30-35% at the steps that I mentioned. These improvements, like 4 main improvements, were, like, as you can see, they were very basic improvements. So user told us, why don't you show a video on the screen? And we tried it. So what I'm trying to say is it is not a science to build the user experience. So the feedback from the user is, it seems the tool didn't really change. It just became easier to use with very basic, simple changes. So you shouldn't over-engineer. That's my key message. It's very simple. And as Vanessa mentioned in the first talk, this is interesting. For example, we are talking about mobile devices. And as she said, 5 years ago, only less than 10% of mobile devices were having a screen size between 5 to 5.5 inches. Today, it is more than 50%. And the design implication is very obvious, right? The natural area, easy to reach area, is very small on the big screen. So if you put the button here, like we do at Google, unfortunately, for the merchandise store, I'm not able to reach that area. So in this example, this is perfect. To navigate through the main categories, I can use my only hand, my single hand. But if I want to open the categories on the Google merchandise store experience, I need to switch to two-handed usage, which I can't because I'm holding the clicker now. Or maybe I'm in the bus. Or maybe I'm driving my bicycle, which you shouldn't do, of course. But the key message here is UX is simple, really simple. Think from the user perspective. As Brian mentioned, we are UX experts. We are users. You shouldn't know all the details about behavioral science or economics. I want to, in the next couple of slides, I want to show what other optimizers who are optimizing for the beyond the click experience and changing the conditions and circumstances to optimize the outcome, what they are doing. And this is the more interactive part. I want to ask you which experience do you think will convert better, and I will show you the result. These tests are coming from the partner engagements that we had with companies. So the first one is this, from Sweden, like a travel company. 2 different versions. And as you can see, the right version has an additional area on the top, which is in Swedish, saying that we are the best travel portal in 2017, and you can book now and cancel free later or something like that. Which one? If you think that the right version converts better, raise your hand. So actually, yes, right version, which shows the value propositions more prominently, converted 8% better. And see the impact on the revenue, 11%. Very basic change, by the way, very basic change. What about these 3 different versions? This is a social network or dating platform, I can say. The only difference between 3 different experiences is the top line in this value proposition or the text description. The first one is easy way to find your soulmate. Second one is serious dating and communication. Third one is find your true love today. Raise your hand if you think the first one converts better. Raise your hand if the mid version. And last one. OK. Actually, this is the result. They are similar. Maybe I can invent a much better version of this to double the registration. But there is no science here. And of course, although there are best practices and principles, the reality could be very different for user segment. As I said, as I like a different layout for toilet paper rolls, maybe some users won't like that. That's why I mentioned the importance of personalization or design optimization for different user needs. OK, this version, two different experiences. This version is exposing the search bar, as you can see on the top. Search bar is exposed, and here the search bar is hidden. This is an e-commerce retail company. Which one do you think converts better? If you raise your hand, if you think the right version converts better. OK, we are definitely talking to experts here. 80% higher mobile conversion rate. So, by the way, these case studies and details of these studies are or externally shared with the ecosystem. I will share the link so you can deep dive further and share within your companies. I like this experience from Mango. I will tell you what's the difference here. I made a search, but I made a typo. I searched for dress, but I used a typo by typing it, as you can see. And there is no result, search result. And here, I made the same search with the typo, and they are showing some products. Anyone who is thinking this converts better? OK, bad question. So yeah, this converts definitely better because the company was, or search engine was smart enough to understand the intent of the user. And instead of showing a blank state, they are showing some products. So a more advanced version of this principle is you are searching for a product. The product is out of stock. What do? You can show relevant or related products to users, or you can even do something better. You can introduce a micro conversion button saying that leave your email and I will inform you when the product is back to stock. So there are some variations of the same idea, but the main message is don't bring a dead end in the user experience. This is from our own Google products, this experience. Google Translate, version 1 with icons, version 2 with icons and icon descriptions. Raise your hand if you think this converts better. Yes, it does definitely convert better because I even don't know what this weird like snake icon does. Actually, with this improvement, 25% improvement in the usage of this weird snake icon, which is handwriting feature. This is also a nice example, but more difficult, which is from hotel search from Google. The difference here is just the call to action wording, book a room versus check availability. Raise your hand if you think book a room converts better. And can anyone tell me why do you think that check availability is converting better?
Less commitment.
Yes, you are right. Less commitment was the answer for our case, for our user base. Actually, engagements here improved by 17% because, as I said, stress management is key in driving to conversion rates. Users are stressed here. Maybe not aware, but in the back of your mind, when you read the imperative here, book a room, you feel that you are committed to book a room. And this impacts your behaviors, behavioral psychology. So this is important. Last one, which is a really good example. I think I don't want to ask the same question because you got the message here. But this is a good example of personalization. This company didn't just improve the experience. They are showing different versions of the page dependent on different audiences. So they are using Google Analytics. So they created audiences in Google Analytics. And so they created an audience for price-sensitive users based on some criteria that defined, and demographics and etc. maybe. And for these price-sensitive users only, they are showing some savings percentages. And for not price-sensitive users, they are maybe showing something else. And this is, by the way, ads landing page that they use, and they improved cost per acquisition for that audience, for that segment. These are, as you guess, I mean, you are expert in this topic, so these are super easy changes, super easy improvements. You just need to put yourself on the shoe of the user and think about what I can try more. There are more and more examples, as I show in this slide. I didn't show all examples to you because of time limitations today, but we share them on this new portal. I don't know if you saw this. This is like a new launch of Google a couple of months ago called Optimize Resource Hub, which includes A/B testing results, before and after examples, and A/B testing tips and recommendations from Google as well. I strongly recommend you to check it. Last but not least, this is my last slide. So as I said, I observed in the last 10 years in the ecosystem and at Google that more and more focus or attention is given to this area: UX, conversion rate optimization, and design optimization. This is the right area to invest your resources. This is a survey from Marketing Land, digital agency survey, and you see the top 2 skills there. This will be the top skills in the next 2 years, maybe in the next 10 years, I would say. Data science and analysis, which is more about maybe quantitative or qualitative data gathering and analysis. Second one is conversion rate optimization or behavioral science. These 2 areas will make the difference in the beyond the click experience, and they will drive the conversion rate. So that's why I'm super happy to celebrate the 10th birthday of this event, because this event is purely focused on the second bullet point here. And I just wanted to give you some motivational examples and how we optimized, Google optimized, using design principles to motivate you further to think more about the topic. So that was my part. I hope it was useful for you. And I will be around in the break so we can chat and you can ask me more questions if you have any. So thanks for listening and have a good day.